There is more fallout tonight stemming from the latest indictment against former President Donald Trump. The indictment in Georgia accuses him and 18 others of trying to overturn the 2020 election results. KTVU's Christian Captain walks us through the fourth indictment of the former president, who is now facing a total of more than 90 criminal charges.
In a nearly 100-page indictment, Fulton County's district attorney detailed dozens of acts by former President Trump and 18 of his allies she says were aimed at trying to undo the will of Georgia voters. The former president has faced 3 previous indictments, 1 out of New York for alleged hush money payments and 2 federal indictments related to keeping top-secret documents and charges surrounding January 6th. Professor Andrew Law at University of San Francisco has served as both a federal defender and a San Francisco prosecutor, and says this latest case may pose the most serious risk to the former president.
The narrative around the federal indictment is that, well, if Trump wins the election, he'll pardon himself. Now, there are all sorts of arguments about that, but that is something that is right now very much out there. It's different with respect to the states. In Georgia, you can't pardon yourself.
Beyond the legal jeopardy, there are many questions about how all of this will play out over the course of the upcoming Republican primary and general elections. Professor Sean Rosenberg studies political psychology and the rise of populism. He says for Trump supporters, this latest indictment will only strengthen their resolve. He says for Trump supporters, they want a strong leader, unencumbered by the usual checks on the executive branch. For them, he says,
the purpose of politics is to get things done for the people. And to that end, there should be no constraints placed on the judgment or action of leaders who are acting on behalf of the people.
Rosenberg says Democrats will likely also be energized by the indictments, seeing them as confirmation of their worst fears about what the president could do if reelected. But Rosenberg says the biggest impact could be with independent voters, who he says are more likely to see the legal system as operating more or less impartially.
Because they are more likely to see the judicial process as operating more or less impartially, as it is supposed to. And therefore, the fact of these indictments, and certainly any conviction, will negatively impact their attitude toward Trump.
As for the critical issue of the timeline of these issues, our legal expert says the former president will likely try to delay those federal cases for as long as possible, hoping he wins and can make them disappear. Fulton County's district attorney wants to start her trial in the next 6 months. Our legal expert says expect the same strategy out of the former president to delay for as long as possible, with that case coming out of Georgia as well. In San Francisco, Christian Captain, KTVU, Fox 2 News.